So thank you. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Los Angeles City Council member and Council President Emeritus Herb Wesson, who will speak to us graciously on the state of housing in Los Angeles. Council member?
Well, first of all, let me say, John, that was a phenomenal presentation that you made. One that was just broken down so simple that even I could understand it. So you did some wonderful work there. It makes no sense for me to talk about the state of housing in Los Angeles. I mean, when I think, let's have a real conversation here. When I think about SB 1120, it's one of the biggest insults and slaps in the face to our community that I can remember. It is as bad as SB 50, and we could go on and on. This is different in the sense that this is bad form. It's introduced during a time when our country is in peril. We're dealing with demonstrations and calls for justice. We're dealing with the COVID-19 situation. So we're all focused on trying to survive and help our family survive. Los Angeles, even with our flaws, we have tried to be at the forefront in building housing, affordable housing. I think it was last year we all met, or Diane organized a meeting, and we talked about that out of the percentage of new housing built in the county of Los Angeles, 75% of it was built by the city of Los Angeles, even though we only make up 40% of the county of LA. So we get it. We understand that we have issues that we need to address. This should not be force-fed down our throat. We are not an enemy. We can sit down and creatively come up with ways to deal with this. This is probably the biggest attack, and I'm really frightened by this because it's within an eyelash of being passed. But this is the biggest attack on the residential integrity in our community that I can remember. Plus, by the passage of this, it will create additional pathways to gentrification. And also it's saying local control be damned. You don't know what you're doing. Looking at the maps that John provided earlier in his presentation, it's scarier than I could imagine. So John, I think that is critical. To let people see that, and because once you see a couple of slides, you get it. So now we should be in, how do we mobilize? How do we bring people together? How do we let our representatives in Sacramento understand how we feel about this? I'm glad that Mr. Koretz, Paul Koretz from Council District 5 is on this Zoom as well. And he and I have worked for the past several years trying to defeat legislation like this. And we're going to continue to do that. But just to show you all how scary of a situation we're in today, on the City Council, Mr. Koretz is the maker of a motion that would have the city of LA go on record opposing this. But this is the very first time that there is also a motion submitted to support this. That has not occurred the last two times that we've had to beat this back. So we are creatively doing everything that we can to get the votes necessary and to act quickly so the city of LA can come out opposed. For us at this point in time, it is, mobilize, strategize, organize. If we don't do that, we'll be marginalized. And so I'm glad John and John Hurd and Diane and so many people on the call, because this is a call to action. And I guess my pledge and commitment to you is that this will be a priority to me, and that we do have a nucleus of people on the council that get this, and we're prepared to be your mouthpiece to do whatever we can, but this has to be stopped in the assembly, and we need to have a very thought out, coherent plan going forward. So with that said, I'll stop. But I mean, if you want to rant, I could go for another hour. I could go for another hour and a half. But just think about this and I'll shut the hell up. So many people in our community saved every dime and every quarter because they fell in love with an area, and that's where they wanted to live, raise their family, and that's where they wanted to die. All of that is in jeopardy at this point in time. And another thing that was brought up by Gonzalez is two things. We're gonna be able to create housing and people are not gonna really have as many vehicles. Guys, that's BS. I don't care where you live, you're gonna scrape enough money together to have a car. Reducing parking requirements is ludicrous. Look at our neighborhoods today. There are individuals that sometimes have to park on the next street in order and then turn around and walk back home. So there are all kinds of consequences that many people don't think of. And basically we need to say to Sacramento, guys, slow down, work with us. We'll come up with creative ways to get this done. In the city of LA, I introduced a motion, Paul supported, where all city property now, if you want to develop it, it has to be 100% affordable. That's what we need. And so we now have that space available. We're building bridge homes for homeless and permanent supportive housing. Guy came up to me last week, well, we have a homeless crisis and this will help. Hell, if I develop my house, do you think a homeless person is gonna be able to afford to live there? Hell no.
Councilman, I'm glad to see you brought your rant voice today, huh?
Hey, I'm gonna drink my mango dragon fruit smoothie and calm back down.
All right, put the espresso down, huh?
This is serious.
Yep.
And it's within an eyelash of passing.
Councilman Herb Wesson, we appreciate you very much for being here. Thank you for your comments.